Have you ever looked at your own reflection and not recognized the person staring back at you? The eyes look the same, but the light inside them feels dim. The smile is there, but it doesn't reach the heart. You whisper, "Where did I go?" And the silence answers you back. It's a strange kind of pain, the pain of being alive, but feeling lost inside your own skin. Sometimes life breaks you quietly, not all at once, not with one big tragedy, but slowly, day after day, through small disappointments, small lies, small fears. You start giving pieces of yourself away, one to your job, one to someone who doesn't love you right, one to people who don't understand you. And one day, you wake up empty. You forget who you were before the world told you who to be. But listen to me carefully. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not finished. You are under construction. Every strong building was once a pile of dust. Every calm sea was once a storm. You can rebuild yourself, piece by piece, breath by breath. You don't need to start from nothing. You already have the raw materials. Your courage, your curiosity, your quiet hope. Rebuilding yourself begins with stopping. Yes, stopping. Stop pretending. Stop running. Stop fighting every feeling that tries to rise. When you stop, you can finally hear what your soul has been whispering all along. Please don't give up on me. Close your eyes for a moment and take one slow breath. Feel it enter your chest. Feel it leave. That's your proof. You are still here. Still breathing. Still alive. The world may have changed around you, but you are not gone. You are waiting for yourself to return. Imagine your life as a shattered mirror. The pieces are sharp, scattered, reflecting fragments of who you used to be. You can stand there, crying over the mess, or you can kneel down carefully and start gathering the pieces. Some will cut you, yes. Healing always hurts a little, but every piece you pick up is a piece of truth. Each one reminds you, I was here. I mattered. I still do. So, today, do something gentle for yourself. Don't rush to rebuild. Just look at the ground of your life and see what's left. There are memories that still shine, lessons that still live, dreams that still whisper. Don't throw them away. They are your materials. They are your start. Sit somewhere quiet tonight. Hold a notebook. Write one line. I am ready to rebuild. You don't have to know how. You just have to say it. Because the moment you say it, something in you begins to move again. It's small, but it's real. Like the first heartbeat after silence. Like the first light after the storm. You sit in that quiet room, staring at the words you just wrote. I am ready to rebuild. At first, they look strange on the page, like they belong to someone braver, stronger, someone who knows what they're doing. But slowly, you start to feel it. Those words don't describe who you are yet. They describe who you are becoming. And that's enough for now. Rebuilding never begins with loud promises. It begins with silence, with honesty, with the courage to tell yourself the truth. The truth that you've been carrying too much for too long. The truth that your heart is tired from pretending. You whisper to yourself, I don't want to be strong all the time. And for the first time, that sentence doesn't feel weak. It feels real. Because strength is not about holding everything together. Sometimes, strength is about letting yourself fall apart, just enough to see what's inside. You start noticing small things. The sunlight touching your hands. The sound of your own breathing. The way your shoulders drop when you stop pretending to be fine. These small things are not meaningless. They are signs of life returning. You have been numb for too long, and numbness isn't peace. It's the absence of feeling. Now, you are beginning to feel again, and that means you're healing. Every person who rebuilds must go through this quiet stage, the clearing. Like when a storm has passed, and the sky is gray, and the ground is wet. The air smells different. You walk through the mess, not to escape it, but to understand it. You look at the ruins and ask, what stayed? What survived the storm? Maybe not everything, but something always does. There's always a seed left, even in burned soil. That seed is you. Don't rush to plant new dreams yet. First, clear the ground. Look at what you're still carrying that no longer belongs. Old guilt, old anger, old versions of yourself that keep whispering, "You failed." They are ghosts, not guides. You can thank them for teaching you, and then let them go. Because you can't rebuild with old bricks made of pain. You need space for new ones. Try this. Close your eyes and imagine a heavy backpack on your shoulders. Inside it are names, memories, mistakes, and fears. Feel the weight. Now, one by one, start taking things out. Whisper each as you remove it. I forgive myself for not knowing better. I forgive them for not giving more. I release what I can't control. Feel the weight lighten. You might cry. Let it come. Tears don't mean weakness. They mean cleansing. They mean your soul is washing away what no longer serves it. When you finally stand again, lighter, quieter, you realize something simple yet powerful. Rebuilding isn't about becoming someone new. It's about returning to someone true. The real you has been buried under noise, fear, and duty, but she's still there. Patient, waiting, ready to help you start again. Outside, the evening light begins to fade. You watch the shadows move across the floor, and for the first time in a long while, you don't feel afraid of the dark. You understand now, darkness is not the end. It's the space where new light prepares to be born. That night, the darkness feels softer. It doesn't press against you like before. It wraps around you quietly, like a blanket made of calm. You lie there, staring at the ceiling, feeling the slow rhythm of your breath. Something inside you has changed, though you can't explain it yet. It's not joy, not peace, but a kind of stillness, the space between who you were and who you're becoming. It feels strange, but also safe. You begin to notice that rebuilding isn't made of big victories. It's made of small, gentle moments like this. Moments when you stop fighting yourself. For years, maybe, you've been at war inside your own mind. Every thought was a battlefield. I'm not good enough. I'm too late. I can't fix this. Those thoughts felt true because you repeated them for so long. But now, lying here, you start to question them. You whisper, what if I'm not broken? What if I'm just tired? And that one question changes everything. Because being tired doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've been strong for too long without rest. It means your heart has carried too many storms without shelter. So, before you build anything new, you must learn to rest, not quit. Rest is not a reward. It's part of rebuilding. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a forest after fire. Black trees, gray soil, silence everywhere. It looks dead, but under that silence, life is preparing to rise again. Seeds are opening, roots are pushing through, rain is softening the ash. That's what's happening inside you right now. It doesn't look like progress, but it is. Healing often hides in quiet places. In the coming days, you start to give yourself permission to slow down. You wake up without rushing. You drink your coffee without checking your phone. You walk a little slower, breathe a little deeper. It feels strange at first, like learning how to live again. But soon, you realize that peace doesn't come when life gets easier. It comes when you stop fighting the moment you're in. And yet, as calm returns, another voice appears, a whisper of fear. It says, what if I stay stuck like this forever? You know that voice well. It's the voice that made you rush before. But now, instead of believing it, you listen quietly and reply, I won't stay here forever. I'm just rebuilding my foundation. The fear softens, because truth disarms fear faster than anything else. Each day, you practice one small act of rebuilding. You clean your space. You write a few lines in your journal. You take a walk with no destination. You speak to yourself gently, even when your mind tries to argue. These are not small things. They are repairs, invisible repairs that rebuild the ground you stand on. One evening, as you watch the sunset through your window, you realize something beautiful. The world outside is still the same sky, the same street, the same walls. But it feels different because you are looking at it with new eyes. Rebuilding doesn't always change your world. Sometimes, it just changes how you see it. And that is where strength begins to grow again, quietly, naturally, from within. Days turn into weeks, and though life around you still looks ordinary, something inside begins to breathe again. You notice small things you used to ignore, the way sunlight dances on your wall, the smell of rain before it falls, the softness of your pillow after a long day. These simple details were always there, but now you see them with new eyes. It feels like the world is gently reminding you that beauty never left. You just stopped noticing it when life became too heavy. One morning, you stand by the window holding a warm cup of tea. For a moment, you do nothing. No phone, no plans, no pressure. Just you and the quiet hum of life outside. A bird lands on a branch nearby. Its feathers shimmer in the light, and without thinking, you smile. It's small, but it feels like your first real smile in months. You realize something. Rebuilding is not just about fixing what broke. It's about learning how to see again. When pain leaves, your vision clears. You begin to see the world and yourself as alive again. Yet, as peace slowly returns, so does the voice of doubt. It creeps in softly. What if I fall again? What if all this healing disappears? You pause, feeling that familiar ache in your chest. But this time, you don't panic. You breathe. You whisper, even if I fall again, I'll know how to stand. Because rebuilding isn't about avoiding pain. It's about becoming strong enough to rise after it. You start noticing patterns in yourself. How quickly you apologize for things that aren't your fault. How you hide your feelings to make others comfortable. How you chase people who never truly see you. These realizations sting, but they are necessary. You can't rebuild yourself on broken habits. You need new ones, habits made of truth, not fear. So, you begin to practice honesty, not with others first, but with yourself. When something hurts, you stop pretending it's fine. When you need rest, you stop calling it laziness. When someone crosses your limits, you say, "This is not okay." The first few times you do it, your voice shakes. But it's still your voice, and it grows stronger with every use. Think of yourself like a house again. You've cleared the damage and found the foundation. Now, you're learning how to build walls that can stand. Not walls that isolate, but walls that protect. Boundaries are not walls of fear. They're walls of respect. They tell the world, this is where I end and where you begin. Without them, your energy leaks away until there's nothing left for you. So, you set small boundaries. You say no to unnecessary pressure, no to fake smiles, no to things that drain your peace. At first, it feels uncomfortable, maybe even selfish. But as the days pass, you begin to feel lighter. You start to understand that saying no to what breaks you is actually saying yes to your healing. That night, you sit on your bed with your journal open. You write one line, "I am learning to protect my peace." The letters look calm on the page, like stones forming the base of something strong. You close the book, turn off the light, and lie back. The silence around you doesn't feel empty anymore. It feels alive. It feels like the sound of a new life being built, one soft heartbeat at a time. Morning comes quietly, like a soft whisper that doesn't demand anything from you. The world outside is slow and gentle, painted in pale gold. You wake up before your alarm and just lie there, listening to the stillness. For the first time in a long while, you don't feel the urge to rush. You realize how rare that feeling used to be, how you once started each day like a race, always chasing something invisible, always trying to catch up with people who were never walking your path in the first place. Now, you move slower. You make your bed, open the window, and let the air touch your face. You feel it, the small miracle of simply existing, the quiet rhythm of your own breathing, the soft hum of the world. This is not laziness. This is recovery. The kind of recovery that doesn't happen in hospitals or with medicine, but inside the heart. You are not only healing from pain, you are healing from the way you used to live, from the constant need to prove, to hurry, to please. As you drink your tea, your thoughts drift to the past again. It happens sometimes, memories returning like echoes. The mistakes, the people, the words that still sting a little. But this time, they don't crush you. They feel lighter, almost like stories that no longer belong to you. You understand now that remembering doesn't mean reliving. The past can visit, but it no longer controls you. You can look at it with gratitude, not guilt. Because every version of you, even the broken ones, led you here, to this quieter, wiser place. You decide to go for a walk. The morning air feels new, even though the street is the same. Every step feels like a promise to yourself. I am still moving forward. You notice people rushing, cars honking, someone arguing on their phone. The same chaos you used to be part of. But now you walk differently. You walk like someone who has nothing to prove and everything to feel. As you move, you start talking to yourself softly in your mind. You say, I forgive myself for not being perfect. I forgive myself for trusting the wrong people. I forgive myself for not seeing my worth sooner. Each sentence feels like a brick being placed gently back into your foundation. Forgiveness isn't about forgetting. It's about freeing yourself from carrying what was never meant to be permanent. You pass a small park and stop by a bench. The sunlight falls through the trees, breaking into golden pieces on the ground. You close your eyes and breathe deeply. You think about all the times you tried to change the world around you, not realizing the real change had to start within. You finally understand that rebuilding doesn't mean becoming someone else. It means becoming more you, the real, raw, honest version that you once buried under fear. When you open your eyes, everything looks the same, but it feels different. The trees are still trees, the people are still people, but now you see connection instead of distance. You feel part of it all. And maybe that's what rebuilding truly is, not creating a new world, but remembering that you already belong in this one. You stand up, smile softly to yourself, and whisper, I'm not done yet. Then you start walking again, not fast, not slow, just steady, like someone who finally knows the way home. That evening, the sky is painted with soft colors, orange fading into pink, pink melting into blue. You watch it quietly from your window, holding a cup of tea that has already gone cold. It doesn't matter. The warmth now comes from somewhere deeper. You can feel it under your ribs, that gentle glow that says, I'm coming back to life. It's not dramatic. It's quiet, like a candle that refuses to die even after the wind blows through the room. You stand there for a long time, just watching the clouds move. And while you do, a thought appears. Maybe rebuilding isn't about fixing everything. Maybe it's about learning to live with the cracks. You look at the cup in your hand. There's a small chip on the rim, a mark from when it slipped years ago. You almost threw it away once, but now you realize it's your favorite cup, not in spite of the chip, but because of it. The imperfection makes it yours. It tells a story. Maybe people are the same. Maybe you don't need to hide the broken places. Maybe you can let them become part of your beauty. You sit down and open your notebook again. The pages are filling slowly, not with perfect answers, but with small truths. You write, I am not starting over. I am continuing differently. The words look calm, simple, real. There's no rush in them, no pressure. You understand now that rebuilding is not a single act. It's a quiet lifetime of returning to yourself again and again. Later that night, you go for a walk. The streets are dim, the air cool, the world half asleep. You walk without a destination, letting your feet lead you. You notice the streetlights flickering, a dog barking far away, the sound of your own shoes against the pavement. Everything feels slower, softer. You realize how much of life you've missed because you were always somewhere else in your mind, worrying, comparing, chasing. But now you are here, fully here, and that simple awareness feels like freedom. Halfway down the street, you pass a small shop window. Inside, a worker is sweeping the floor. You catch your reflection in the glass, tired eyes, calm face, the smallest smile. It's not the smile of someone who has it all together. It's the smile of someone who finally stopped pretending. For a moment, you whisper to your reflection, you're doing fine. You never used to say that to yourself. You always waited for someone else to say it first. But now you see, you were the one you needed to hear it from all along. As you walk back home, you notice how the night feels different now. It's no longer heavy. It feels like a friend, quiet, honest, a little mysterious. You think about all the versions of yourself that once felt lost, broken, unseen. You want to tell them, thank you for surviving. Because they did. They carried you through nights you thought you wouldn't make it through. When you finally return home, you turn off the lights and sit in the dark. There's no music, no noise, just your breathing. And for the first time, that silence doesn't scare you. It feels sacred, almost holy, like the sound of your soul rebuilding itself, one heartbeat at a time. The next morning greets you with soft sunlight spilling across your floor. You blink slowly, feeling the warmth touch your skin. The world outside seems calm, like it's waiting for you to join it. You stretch, breathe, and sit up. There's a quiet strength in that small movement, the kind of strength that doesn't roar, but whispers, I'm still here. You don't rush to check your phone. Instead, you take a moment to just be, feeling your heartbeat, listening to the faint sounds of life outside, a car passing, a child laughing, someone closing a window. Each sound feels alive, almost comforting. The world keeps moving, and you realize, so do you. Even when you thought you were stuck, something in you kept walking forward, step by step, thought by thought. That's what rebuilding really looks like, not explosions of progress, but quiet persistence. You go to the mirror and study your face. The same eyes, but they look softer now. The same lines, but they carry less tension. You tilt your head slightly and whisper, you're changing, not into someone else, but into someone more honest, more present. The reflection doesn't scare you anymore. It feels like meeting an old friend who never stopped waiting for you. As you move through the morning, you notice how peace is no longer something you chase. It's something you create. You make your breakfast slowly, tasting the food instead of rushing. You open the window wider and let the air flow through the room. You even hum a little tune under your breath, not because everything is perfect, but because you finally stopped expecting perfection to make you happy. Later, As you walk to the store, you catch yourself smiling at strangers. You don't plan it. It just happens. There's a lightness in your steps that wasn't there before. The people around you look tired, rushed, worried. And for a moment, you remember what that used to feel like. You send them a silent wish. May you find your peace, too. Rebuilding doesn't just change you. It changes the energy you bring into the world. It softens you without making you weak. It teaches you how to be kind without losing your edges. At the counter, an old man drops his wallet. Without thinking, you bend down and hand it back. He smiles, eyes bright with gratitude, and says, "Thank you, dear." That simple word, "thank you," echoes in your chest long after you leave. You realize how these small, human moments build something stronger than walls or plans. They build connection. And connection is part of rebuilding too. You don't heal in isolation. You heal by learning how to live among others again, without fear, without masks. When you return home, you look around your space. It's the same room, but it feels different now. Maybe it's you who's different. You notice the pile of books you want to read, the corner where you might place a plant, the quiet hum of possibility in the air. You sit down, take out your notebook, and write, "I am learning to belong to my own life." You read the sentence again, slowly. It feels true. Belonging doesn't come from a person, a job, or a dream. It comes from returning to yourself, fully, kindly, and without shame. Outside, a breeze passes through the open window, and you close your eyes, smiling softly as it touches your face. It feels like life itself whispering, "Welcome back." The days begin to flow with a new rhythm. You no longer wake up with the heaviness that once sat on your chest. The mornings feel lighter, not because life suddenly became easier, but because you are learning how to carry it differently. The weight is still there, but your hands are steadier now. You are not fighting the world anymore. You are learning how to move with it. You notice how much calmer your mind has become. The noise inside you, the constant worry, the endless what-ifs, the invisible pressure is starting to fade. Not completely, but enough to let you breathe. You're beginning to understand something powerful. Peace doesn't come when everything is perfect. It comes when you stop expecting it to be. You stop asking life to always be kind, and instead, you learn how to be kind to yourself while life is hard. One afternoon, you sit outside on a small bench, watching people pass by. A mother holds her child's hand. A man carries flowers. Two friends laugh as they walk together. You realize how many stories move around you every day, how everyone is carrying something: dreams, losses, fears, memories. For a moment, you feel connected to them all. You don't feel alone in your rebuilding anymore. You understand that every person you see is rebuilding something too, in their own way, even if they never say it out loud. You close your eyes and let the wind brush against your face. It reminds you of all the times life knocked you down and still, somehow, you stood back up. You whisper, "I am still standing." The words are soft, but they echo deep. You remember how far you've come, from nights of silence and confusion to mornings of quiet peace. You remember that there was a time you couldn't even imagine this calm. Now it's part of you. That evening, you decide to clean your space again. You open drawers you haven't touched in months, throw away what no longer matters, and keep what feels right. It's not just about tidying the room. It's symbolic, a ritual of letting go, of making space for new energy. Every object you place with care feels like a declaration: "I am ready for new beginnings." When you finish, you light a small candle on your desk. The flame dances gently, lighting up the room with a soft, golden glow. You watch it for a while, feeling strangely emotional. The flame reminds you of yourself, fragile yet steady, simple yet strong. No matter how dark the night gets, it continues to burn. That's what rebuilding feels like, not fire that destroys, but fire that illuminates. You sit down and take out your notebook again. The pages now carry your journey, the pain, the lessons, the quiet victories. You flip through them slowly, noticing how your handwriting has changed. It used to look tense, hurried, as if written by someone trying to escape. Now it looks softer, rounder, almost peaceful. You smile, realizing that healing has even touched the way you write. You add one more line at the bottom of the page. I am learning how to stay in the moment, to stay in your truth, to stay even when it's uncomfortable. Because staying is strength. Anyone can run. It takes courage to remain, to face yourself with love and patience. You close the notebook and blow out the candle. The room fades into darkness, but this time the darkness feels like rest, not emptiness. You lie down and think, maybe this is what it means to be alive again, to feel both the dark and the light and know they can live together in peace. The next morning, you wake before the alarm again. The first thing you notice is the light. It isn't bright yet, just a soft glow stretching across the curtains, the quiet promise of a new day. You lie there, feeling it touch your skin, and you realize something small but profound. The sun still rises, even when you don't ask it to. Life continues to offer you another chance, silently, every morning. And maybe that's all rebuilding really is, learning to say yes to the new day, no matter what yesterday looked like. You rise slowly, walk to the mirror, and smile. It's not a forced smile. It's the kind that appears naturally, almost without effort. You whisper, "Good morning." It's a simple phrase, but it feels like a ritual of self-respect. For years, you greeted the world but ignored yourself. Now you begin with you, a small shift, but one that changes everything. You make your breakfast, and while the water boils, your mind drifts again, not to worry this time, but to reflection. You start thinking about strength, how it used to mean fighting through everything, pretending to be fine, refusing to cry. Now, you understand that real strength is quieter. It's not about holding everything together. It's about knowing what to let fall. It's about softness without shame, about being open without losing yourself. As you eat, you notice that your appetite has returned, not just for food, but for life. You start writing down things you want to experience, small things, learning a new recipe, taking a short trip, calling an old friend, watching the sunset from a hill. They seem ordinary, but your heart beats faster as you write them. Because these are not just plans, they are pieces of life you once stopped believing you deserved. Now you want them back. Later, you step outside. The city moves around you. Cars, laughter, footsteps, conversations. Everything feels alive, and so do you. You walk past a flower shop, and the bright colors pull you in. You don't think, you just enter. The air smells like rain and petals. You buy one small white flower, nothing fancy, just simple and pure. As you hold it, you realize it's more than decoration. It's a symbol of life growing again, of something soft surviving inside you. You carry the flower home and place it by your window. For a moment, you just look at it, feeling strangely proud. You whisper, "You belong here." And deep down, you know you're not talking to the flower anymore. That night, as you lie in bed, you think about how rebuilding isn't one big moment of change. It's hundreds of small choices that say, "I still believe in myself." Each time you wake up, forgive, breathe, or smile, you are placing another brick. You can't always see the shape of what you're building, but you can feel it growing stronger beneath you. It's not perfect, and it doesn't have to be. You finally understand. The goal isn't to be unbroken. The goal is to live fully, even with the cracks. You close your eyes with a quiet heart. Outside, the wind moves softly through the trees, and the flower by your window bends slightly, but doesn't fall. Neither do you. The next few days pass gently, like soft waves touching the shore. There's a rhythm to your life now. Not fast, not forced, just steady. You still have moments when your chest feels heavy, when old memories tap on your heart like uninvited guests. But instead of pushing them away, you let them sit for a moment. You don't run. You don't hide. You simply breathe and say, "It's okay. You can be here, but you can't stay." That quiet acceptance has become your new strength. You're learning that healing doesn't mean forgetting the past. It means remembering it without being owned by it. Every memory is like a scar. It doesn't disappear, but it doesn't hurt the same way anymore. You can touch it and still feel calm. You can remember what broke you and still feel whole. That's the miracle of rebuilding. The cracks don't make you weaker. They let the light in. One afternoon, while tidying your room, you find an old photograph. It's of you, younger, smiling, eyes bright and curious. For a moment, you just stare. You remember that version of yourself, hopeful, fearless, maybe even a little naive. You feel a mix of sadness and tenderness. You whisper to that person in the picture, "I'm sorry for forgetting you, but I'm finding you again." And in that moment, you realize something powerful. You're not creating a new self. You're coming home to the one you left behind. You sit on the floor with that photo in your hands, surrounded by quiet. The sunlight spills across the room, warm and forgiving. You think about how life used to feel like a constant climb, as if every day demanded a new mountain. But now, you're beginning to see life as a walk instead, a long, unfolding path where some days are uphill, some are flat, and some are simply for resting and looking at the view. There's no race. There's no finish line. There's only the journey, and you're finally learning how to enjoy it. That evening, you cook dinner slowly. The sound of chopping vegetables, the smell of spices, the rhythm of the spoon against the pan, everything feels alive. You eat quietly, no rush, no phone, no distraction. For the first time in years, the silence doesn't feel like loneliness. It feels like company. Your own presence no longer feels heavy. It feels gentle, familiar enough. Later, you step out onto your balcony. The night air is cool, and the city lights shimmer like stars scattered across the ground. You lean on the railing and think about how far you've come, not in miles, but in moments. From chaos to calm, from pretending to being, from surviving to living. You whisper into the night, "I'm proud of you." The words feel strange at first, but true. You've spent years waiting for someone else to say them, and now you realize you've been the voice you were waiting for all along. The wind brushes your hair, carrying the faint smell of rain. Somewhere in the distance, thunder hums softly. You close your eyes and smile. You know storms will come again. They always do. But now you also know this. You can bend without breaking. You can get wet and still stand tall. You have roots now, deep and strong, built from every quiet day you chose not to give up. And that, you realize, is the real meaning of rebuilding. Not to escape the rain, but to grow through it. Rain arrives the next morning, soft at first, then steady. You wake to the sound of it against the window, that slow, rhythmic tapping that feels like a heartbeat from the sky. You lie there listening, not rushing to start the day, just breathing in the calm. For a long time, rain used to make you feel lonely. It reminded you of endings, of quiet rooms and empty spaces. But today, it feels different. It feels like a song of renewal, the world washing itself clean, one drop at a time. You stand by the window and watch the street below. The world glistens. People hurry by under umbrellas, but you stay still, watching the ripples form in small puddles. The water moves, changes, clears. You smile softly because you understand now. This is what life does too. It rains, it floods, it breaks, but eventually, it clears. You have survived every storm so far. You'll survive the next one too. You spend the morning in quiet simplicity. You make breakfast, light a candle, write a few lines in your notebook. Words flow more easily now, not from pain, but from peace. You write, healing is not a destination. It's a way of walking. As soon as you read it back, you realize how true it is. There will never be a final moment when you're fully healed. There will only be days like this, where you choose peace instead of pressure, truth instead of denial, love instead of fear. After lunch, the rain slows to a drizzle. You put on your jacket and step outside. The air is cool, the ground still wet, and everything smells fresh. You start walking, no goal, no hurry, just following the soft rhythm of your footsteps. The world looks alive in its quietness. Leaves shine with drops of silver. A child in a red raincoat jumps into a puddle, laughing so hard that her joy spills into the air around her. You can't help but smile too. It's been a long time since you've laughed that freely, but something inside you stirs. A spark, a memory, maybe even a promise. You realize that laughter is not a sign that you've forgotten the pain. It's proof that you survived it. As you continue walking, you start to notice small reflections in windows, in puddles, in passing cars. Everywhere you look, there's a version of you staring back, a little older, a little softer, but undeniably you. You think about everything that reflection has endured, heartbreaks, failures, disappointments, long nights of silence. Yet there you are, still standing, still breathing, still capable of love. You whisper quietly, I forgive myself for the years I spent fighting what I didn't understand. The words come out like a sigh, light and freeing. Because deep down, you finally accept that you did your best with what you knew. Every version of you, the scared one, the angry one, the lost one, was just trying to survive. And they did. They brought you here. When you return home, the candle is still burning on the table. You sit beside it, watching the flame move. It flickers, bends, and then steadies again. It's fragile, but it never goes out. You realize that's exactly what you are, a steady flame in a world of wind. You smile and whisper, I am still burning. And in that moment, you don't just believe it, you know it. The rain stops by evening, leaving the world shining and still. You open your window and breathe in the air, cool, clean, and full of that quiet smell that only appears after a storm. Everything feels washed, as if the sky decided to start over. You watch tiny drops slide down the glass and think, this is what healing feels like. Not a sudden burst of light, but a slow clearing after chaos. You're not racing toward peace anymore. You're learning to live inside it. You move through your room, tidying small things, folding clothes, putting a book back in its place, watering the little white flower on the windowsill. Its petals are open, brighter than before. You smile, touching one gently. It reminds you that care doesn't have to be dramatic. Growth happens quietly, through consistent, small acts of love. You've learned to do the same for yourself, no longer forcing progress, just tending to it with patience. As night falls, you make tea and sit by the window, notebook in hand. The candlelight flickers beside you, painting golden shadows on the wall. You begin to write, but not about pain this time. You write about gratitude, simple things that make your day lighter. The smell of rain, the softness of my bed, the sound of laughter, my breath still steady, my heart still open. Each word feels like a seed you're planting in your soul, a promise that you'll keep noticing the beauty in the ordinary. While you write, a thought comes quietly. I'm not the same person who began this journey. You pause, letting the truth of it sink in. The person who once doubted every step, who feared every fall, who carried guilt like a second skin. That version of you still exists, but she's no longer in control. Now, you move with gentleness. You speak to yourself like someone you love. That's the real transformation, not changing who you are, but changing how you treat yourself. You glance outside. The moon has appeared, calm and pale, floating between clouds. You remember how many nights you stared at it feeling empty. But tonight, it feels different. You don't see distance anymore. You see reflection. The moon doesn't shine by itself. It reflects the sun's light even when it's far away. Maybe people are like that too. Maybe you can still glow, even when you feel far from warmth. Maybe that's what resilience truly means. You take a deep breath and close your notebook. The pages inside tell a story, not of perfection, but of persistence. Every sentence is a step, every page a small victory. You don't plan to stop writing. You know rebuilding is never done. There will still be days of confusion, moments when you fall back into old thoughts. But now, you have something you never had before: trust. Trust that you'll come back again, just like the sun after the storm, just like the flower after the rain. You lean back in your chair, eyes half closed, feeling the softness of the night. The world outside hums quietly, as if breathing with you. And as you sit there, you realize that maybe the point was never to rebuild into something unbreakable. Maybe it was to learn that even when you break again, you'll know how to rebuild, gently, patiently, endlessly. Morning light returns like a quiet guest who knows how to enter without waking anyone. You open your eyes slowly, feeling that gentle warmth on your face. The air smells faintly of rain and something new, like the world is clean again. You stretch, noticing how your body feels stronger now, more grounded, more yours. There was a time you woke up already tired, heavy before the day even began. Now, each morning feels like a small gift. You whisper to yourself, another chance. You go through the motions of the day, but something about them feels different. When you brush your teeth, you hum softly. When you wash your face, you look at yourself and don't flinch anymore. When you make breakfast, you add fruit, not because someone said it's healthy, but because it feels like kindness to your body. These small acts, the ones you once ignored, now feel like prayers. You've learned that love doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be consistent. As you eat, you think about how strange healing is. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't come with applause or fireworks. It slips in quietly, one gentle day at a time, until one morning you realize you haven't cried in weeks. You realize you've been laughing again, sleeping better, breathing deeper. It's not that your life suddenly became easy. It's that you stopped expecting ease to define your happiness. You've made peace with effort, with imperfection, with the slow rhythm of becoming. Later, you go for a walk in the park. The ground is soft from yesterday's rain, and the grass shines in the sunlight. You watch a group of children chasing each other, their laughter echoing through the trees. You stand there for a moment, smiling without reason. You think, this is what I wanted all along. Not perfection, not success, but peace. The kind that sits quietly inside you and doesn't depend on anything outside. You find a bench and sit down, closing your eyes for a moment. The wind brushes your hair, carrying the smell of flowers. You take a slow breath and feel gratitude rise like warmth in your chest. You realize that the world never stopped offering beauty. You just stopped being able to see it when you were hurting. Pain made you blind to what was always around you. Light, sound, laughter, life. Now your eyes are open again. A thought crosses your mind, gentle but strong. Rebuilding isn't just about healing from what happened. It's about preparing for what will come. You know there will be new storms, new heartbreaks, new challenges. But this time, you won't crumble. You've built something inside you that won't fall so easily. Patience, clarity, self-trust. The walls you've rebuilt are not made of stone. They're made of understanding. They can bend with life instead of breaking against it. You stand up from the bench and start walking again. The path curves through the park, lined with trees that sway softly in the wind. Each step feels light, like the ground itself is guiding you forward. You don't know exactly where this road leads, and for the first time in your life, that doesn't scare you. The need to control every outcome has faded. Now, you move with trust in time, in growth, in yourself. As you leave the park, you glance at the sky, wide, blue, endless. You whisper, "I'm still becoming." The words drift upward, carried by the wind. And deep inside, you feel it. The quiet joy of someone who finally knows that becoming never really ends. That evening, you walk home under a soft orange sky. The day feels long but kind, the kind that leaves you tired in a good way, the kind of tired that comes after living, not just surviving. You walk slowly, your steps steady, feeling the rhythm of your breath matching the quiet sounds around you. People pass by, some rushing, some smiling, some lost in thought. For a moment, you realize how many lives are happening at the same time as yours, each one full of stories, heartbreaks, hopes. And it comforts you. You are not alone in the rebuilding. Everyone is mending something, somewhere, even if it's invisible. You reach your building, climb the stairs, and pause at your door before opening it. A strange peace fills you. This small space that once felt heavy now feels like a reflection of your own heart. Simple, calm, and real. You turn on the light and look around. The white flower by the window has grown taller. Its stem bends slightly toward the evening light, searching for warmth. You smile. You know that feeling well, the quiet reaching for light even after long darkness. You make tea again, the same way you always do, but tonight the act feels almost sacred. You stir slowly, watch the steam rise, and think about how many times this simple ritual has kept you grounded. Healing never came in one big moment. It came through small, repeated gestures like this: tea, quiet, breath, forgiveness. You sit by the window with your cup and whisper softly, "I made it this far." Not in pride, but in gratitude. Because the person who once wanted to give up didn't. She stayed. You take out your notebook, feeling the familiar comfort of its weight in your hands. The pages are nearly full now, your journey captured in ink and silence. You open to a new page and write slowly, "I no longer chase peace. I live it." The words look simple, but they carry the whole story. You read them twice, smile faintly, and close the book. Outside, the city lights begin to glow one by one. Somewhere a car passes. Somewhere a dog barks. The world hums quietly, and you realize that the same world that once overwhelmed you now feels gentle, even welcoming. You've changed the way you meet it. You've learned to move slower, to listen, to see. The noise doesn't own you anymore because silence lives inside you now. You turn off the lights and stand near the open window. The night air wraps around you softly, cool and steady. You look up. The moon is full tonight, glowing strong and clear. You feel its calm power deep in your chest. For a long moment, you just breathe, eyes on the sky. You don't wish for anything. You don't question what comes next. You simply exist, and it feels enough. You whisper to yourself, I am no longer afraid of the dark. Because now you understand, darkness was never there to destroy you. It was there to teach you how to see your own light. You've rebuilt from the inside out, not by adding more, but by stripping away what wasn't true. And what's left is quiet, strong, and full of life. You finish your tea, close the window, and let the soft hum of the night fill the room. There's nothing dramatic about this moment, no grand ending, just peace. The kind that doesn't shout, but stays. The kind that finally feels like home. You wake before dawn, the world still wrapped in gray silence. The air is cool, the kind that carries both calm and promise. You lie still for a few moments, feeling the rhythm of your heartbeat, the soft weight of the blanket, the quiet hum of life beginning outside. There's no rush, no alarm shouting at you, no flood of thoughts demanding attention. Just you, breathing, present. And for the first time, peace doesn't feel like a visitor. It feels like it lives here now. You rise and move to the window. The horizon is faintly glowing, the first hint of sunrise. The city below is half asleep, but you can already sense the world preparing to wake. You open the window wide and let the cool air touch your face. Somewhere, a bird starts to sing. The sound is simple, but it moves through you like light through glass. You close your eyes and whisper, thank you. Not to anyone specific, just to life itself, for giving you another morning, another chance to begin again. You make coffee slowly, the same familiar steps, the smell, the warmth, the small swirl of steam rising like breath. You take the cup to your table and sit quietly. No music, no distractions, just you and the dawn. You think about everything you've learned, how pain can be a teacher, how silence can heal, how every ending can open into something softer. You realize that rebuilding yourself was never about finding perfection. It was about finding balance, the middle place between holding on and letting go. As the sun begins to rise, light fills the room, golden, gentle, forgiving. You look around and see the traces of your journey everywhere. The worn notebook on the table, the single flower by the window, the candle on the shelf half burned but still standing. None of it is perfect, but all of it is real, just like you. You pick up your notebook one last time and open it to a blank page. The air feels still, expectant, as if waiting for the next sentence. You write slowly, carefully, I am no longer trying to become someone else. I am finally becoming myself. You stop and let the words sink in. That's what this whole journey was about. Not transformation, but return. You haven't built a new version of you. You've uncovered the one that was always hidden under fear, doubt, and noise. The real you, steady, kind, imperfect, alive. You close the notebook gently and smile. You don't feel like the story is ending. You feel like it's beginning again, differently this time. Not from pain, but from peace. Not from need, but from choice. Outside, the sun has fully risen now. The light spills across your face, warm and golden. You take a deep breath and stand by the window, watching the city wake up. The world moves, and for once, you move with it. Not behind it, not against it, but with it. You whisper one last truth, one that feels like the final piece sliding into place. I am whole, even as I keep becoming. And with that, you take a sip of your coffee, feeling its warmth flow through you like a quiet promise.